I instantly, I guess I was aware that something was wrong, so I start touching my fingers, touching my toes, and I'm everything. I can still feel everything. Everything's fine. Nothing changed at all. I just couldn't talk. We go to the hospital there at Childress. Childress is a small community. They have about 6,500 people. It's one of my friends that's the doctor there, and he has no idea. Of course, we're thinking it's worse instantly. It's a tumor, it's MS, or who knows? They don't know. So I'm in the hospital there at the emergency room for a good little bit, and they send me on to Amarillo. It's a Saturday night, and we come into by this time my mom and dad and my brother went with me to the doctor. I think I actually drove. So we walk into the emergency room there, and Saturday night, and I just remember this, there's a gunshot patient sitting in the waiting room at the emergency room waiting to see a doctor. So when I come in, they want to know who I am. Of course, my mom has to tell them because I can't talk still. And, "Oh, Mr. Smith, you come right this way." So they open the doors, and here I come. The gunshot patient waits, but I'm here. I'm thinking that I'm all right. There's not a big deal. I had a migraine maybe, and I just can't talk. You come right in this way. Well, I go right in the hall. When I do, there's a doctor. He's not an emergency room doctor. He's not a nurse. This is a neurologist. He's out of bed with his suit on, and he's Stran Smith. Yes, sir. I don't say yes, sir. I can't talk. Right in here. So we come into the deal, and he starts the tests. That from that point on, for about the next 3 days, I was poked and I was prodded. I had tests run on my head, tests run on every part of my body. As you can imagine, it was finally they determined I have had a stroke. I'm 32 years old and I've had a stroke. What caused the stroke? I had a hole in my heart. Well, it's a birth defect. So this is a natural thing that happens. It's pretty rare, but it does happen.
Stran Smith could have the greatest seat of anyone. He just needs to tie 3 calves in 7. If he ties 3 calves in 7, he's going to be tough to beat. Come on, Stran the man, get him up, go! Go, Stran, go! Everybody hold your breath. Everybody hold your breath. Calf gets 6 seconds. He says it's official.
There's nothing wrong with the Cowboys' heart. There's nothing wrong with his heart. All time, good-looking man says, "Let's go to it. Throw it out. Reel it in. This could be the round. Stran Smith, come on. Go ahead. Get you some. Get you some." Said there was nothing wrong with his heart, and the man just showed you why he keeps bouncing back. Ladies and gentlemen, 7.4 seconds, Stran Smith. Yes, 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 yes.
The deal about a stroke is once you have a stroke, then within the next year, your chances of having another stroke is like 30%, 35% chance that you'll have another stroke within the next year. And then your chances go up by like 5% each year after that. So if I live to be an old guy, chances are that I was going to have another stroke. And they say always the second one's worse than the first one, and that's the one that usually gets you. So to just sit back and not do anything about it was really not an option. Just sit and wait for this to come get you. So this doctor's telling me we'll treat it with medicine and we'll just change my lifestyle. So we get up and we leave out of the doctor's office and we get in the car and we're driving back home, and I asked Jennifer, we hadn't said much. I looked over and I said, "Did that guy just say what I thought he said?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "I can't rope anymore?" "Nope." Well, I guess I can do something else. I'm thinking, man, I'm gonna have to give me an office job, or I don't know what. I don't really want to know. Lots of uncertainty at this time. So we go home, and my wife was a health reporter whenever she was in the news business, so she goes, all my team, I called my team, they're still my team, my whole family and friends, and we all kind of come together and like, okay, now let's educate ourselves on what happened. Let's find out what we can do and what the options are. So we've started educating ourselves, and everybody's researching it. We'll have a little meeting and everybody will disperse and go their different ways to find out what they can find out. Well, come to find out that really putting this rat poisoning into your body, and that's what blood thinner is, that's what Coumadin is rat poisoning. It thins your blood. And with my lifestyle and with the way things were going to go, I don't really think that's the best option for us. So there was experimental surgery that wasn't FDA approved yet, that they could actually go into your heart and close this hole in your heart up. Well, see, the part that I'm leaving out here is my wife was pregnant before this whole stroke deal, and somewhere in between me having the stroke and us figuring out what we're going to do about it, we found out there's a little boy. And this is about a 6-week period here between me having the stroke and actually us going and doing what we needed to do. But we found out that that probably wasn't the best option for me to take these blood thinners. It was probably to go with this experimental surgery and to have heart surgery. And then it was, where we're going to go. Where are we going to go to have this surgery? Who's going to do it? And it was, now, in this point in my life, 6 weeks here, I've always had an outlet, and it's been roping. If something's bothered me, I can go rope. If I have, it's always been to where I've had little injuries. I've had knee operations, shoulders and wrists and all these kind of things. But it's always, even my comeback has always been somewhat in my hands. I could work a little harder in rehab and get back a little faster. I always felt like I was a little bit in control. At this point, I felt no different than I always had my whole entire life. But they're telling me that I'm not the same. I've got this hole in my heart and that I can't rope, I can't do anything. They've got me on blood thinners. So I can't, there's no roping, there's no go play basketball, there's nothing, no options. Really, pretty much the only thing I did for about 6 weeks, I walked around my house, the backyard, and watered grass.
It's another Texan. It's the cowboy with the golden heart. The cowboy with the perfect attitude. The cowboy who makes young men want to grow up to be great men. Stran Smith. 7'3". That's what you got to be. He's trying, he's doing it, and he's out of there! 7'2". Oh, Joe, I thought we had a buckle.
Well, look, let's do some quick math. When you give Monty Lewis $38,000, it puts him at $178. If you give him, it'll put Monty at what? Aggressively. This guy has the gold buckle that says champ of the world. They're not going to take it away from him. Topper's the horse underneath Stran Smith. This is a 2-time and reigning AQHA Horse of the Year. Top of the market underneath Stran, the man. Childress, Texas Cowboy, wants to talk to his wife in front of the TV cameras tonight.
Reach and get him, Topper, stop him. Gone. Come on, Stran, hurry, hurry, hurry. Got it? Done. 7.5.
In this period, I truly learned what it was like, and know what about, once again, getting on your face before God, because really I didn't understand this. I didn't understand, and I've never tried to ask God why. I've always wanted to know what is it? What is it you want me to see in this? Where are we going to go with it? Where do you want me to go with this? And it brought me to a spot in my relationship with God to where scriptures I'd read literally over and over and over throughout my lifetime, that really didn't mean that much to me was all of a sudden just jumping off the pages at me. It was like I had such revelation of the Bible, how the Bible was so tied together, how scriptures became mine, how it wasn't just me spending time with God. He had his arms around me, because I didn't have time for anything else. That's all I was truly. They say that you're really not really ready to live until you're ready to die, and they were talking. The statistics were about me. It's a different deal whenever they say, well, you're driving down the road and your chances of having a car wreck and it killing you are such and such throughout your life. And you think, oh, that's a broad statistic that I could be a part of, but not really. But whenever they're talking to you, you're sitting down in that doctor's office and he's saying you've got this % chance of dying on the operating table. You've got this % chance of having another stroke and it killing you. You're looking straight at you and you think, oh Lord, man, hey, I don't want to die. And when you look at that day in, day out, I look at people that are going through life-threatening diseases and illnesses and how they deal with it, and how, well, it was something to me to where I always thought that things would panic. I would panic, and I'd be like, I can't sleep, I can't. And I'm not saying that all these things, I didn't question all kinds of things. But I'm saying is, it brought me to a point in my relationship with God to where I was like, you know what, Lord? I don't really know how this is going to turn out, but I know it's going to turn out the best because I've got it completely in your hands. I'm out of the way.
Finals. He's well known. He's been a fan's favorite Cowboy, the Coors fans' favorite Cowboy. Stran Smith. His wife Jennifer does the interviews for our television. She would love to be talking to her husband tonight as a go-round winner. Let's see if we can't help him get there. Come on! Yeah! 6 seconds, also important while you make sure that one stays. The legs crossed and tight. Everything looks all right. How about another new leader? 7-3 for Stran.
Still got a chance, a real chance to remain number one. 28,000 to lead in the world.
Okay, let's take a look at a 6'3", 8-time national finalist, Stran Smith. He's going for go-rounds on every run. Every run. He's going for rounds on every run as he races out and puts this one together. You wait the time specs and everything's all right. Had a little problem in the run and is still looking at a 7.5 time.
What we finally decided to do was have experimental. It wasn't really exactly experimental surgery, but it wasn't FDA approved at the time. Was to have this surgery where they go in my heart and they put a device in there that closes these two chambers up. So if it works, it completely fixes the problem. I'm better than I've ever been in my life. Well, that's what we opt for. And I referred to it earlier about the curveballs. Every day it seemed like there was something new. Well, the insurance is not going to pay for the surgery. Well, the doctors that you can't. You're not a candidate for this surgery. Well, there's about 4 different surgeries, different devices that different doctors put in. Which one's the best? Where do we go? And every time another curveball would come, I was just like, Lord, you're in control of this.